Good evening, everyone. Super sorry. I'm having a few technical difficulties, I guess. Um, I tried this new scheduler thing with Facebook where I was able to let you all know ahead of time that I was going live tonight. I don't know if you saw it on my feed or not, and that's fine. But basically, like, it presets the video for me. And I had like everything typed up and ready to go. And then I couldn't figure out how to go live from the pre-made video. I have no idea. So clearly I need some more research. So I just ended up like getting out of that and hitting the live button and going from there. So hopefully I don't have like a whole bunch of people waiting over in that video to watch me. Hopefully everyone finds me here. So good evening. Thank you so much for joining. I'm super excited. I see Shelly has popped in. Laura is here. Hello, everyone. Make sure that you comment below and let me know that you're here. Let me know what grade you teach and where you're from. And just how's your day going? It's Wednesday. I think Wednesday is one of the better days of the week, right? Because we're halfway over, close to the weekend, and it was a really good day for me, so I hope it was for you too. So we are on episode number 3 of Adventures in Comprehension, and I'm really excited tonight because not only is tonight's topic going to be really good, but your freebie tonight is awesome. So you're going to want to make sure that you join me because I've got some really good information as well as some really good takeaways that you can go and implement in your classroom right away. Hi, Hope. Thanks for joining. Okay, so a few little things before we really get started. My name is Sierra Harris. I am the author at Adventures of Room 129, and I absolutely love coming live with you every Wednesday at 8:30 in my new series called Adventures in Comprehension, and we're going to be talking about all things comprehension. So some topics in there may really get you excited, and some you may not be as interested in, and that's perfectly fine. But I hope you'll join me. My hope is that I provide you with wonderful content that you can use and take away and put right into action in your classroom. And I hope to have like a freebie of some sort to give you that you can use as well. Hi, Erica. Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining. Grab a seat. Grab a drink. I don't expect tonight's live to take very long. But you never know. We could just keep chatting, right? So thank you again for joining. Again, comment, let me know where you're from, what grade you teach, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So episode 3 of Adventures in Comprehension. Tonight's topic is about getting students to be able to answer all of those pesky comprehension questions. So I taught grades 2nd all the way to 4th. As well as being an instructional coach. And I know this is one of the most frustrating things when it comes to getting students to be able to answer comprehension questions. And it involves some writing as well. So we are going to talk about comprehension as well as writing tonight. But I wanted to get this topic done early on in the year because I know for a lot of teachers, especially if you're teaching 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, you've got standardized tests coming up, and you're probably really trying to hone in on getting students to be able to answer those open-ended comprehension questions and answer them in really well. So I hope tonight's strategy that I'm going to show you and talk to you about is something that you can absolutely use to help with that. Now, 2nd grade teachers, 1st grade teachers, you can use this as well. Okay, hi Amy. So this may be a strategy that you've already known about, but if you have, that's fine. Stay tuned because they may have a few other ideas or suggestions, and you want to stick around for the freebie, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So tonight, like I said, we're talking about getting students to really be able to answer those comprehension questions. And what I mean by that is the open-ended questions, not the multiple choice, of course, but the ones where they have to write out an answer. Use text evidence, go back to the story, and write out a strong answer that's not just blah, right? Give me some hearts if you just get blah the majority of the year. I've been there, and I just want to bang my head against the desk because I can't write it in a complete sentence enough times, right? They understand what a complete sentence is, but they don't know how to apply that to these types of questions. So I have a strategy for that, and it's called TTQA. TTQA stands for Turn the Question Around. Seems pretty simple, right? And it is. And it really works for students, okay? So I have, and if you haven't seen off to the side, you can grab the link to the freebie over there. So if you want to grab that and look through that while we talk through everything, you are more than welcome. You can grab it at the end. It doesn't matter. I also put a link over there for you to join my amazing Facebook group. I've got some exclusive freebies in there that are just for the group only. So if you haven't joined that yet, you're going to want to do that. But I have all of the information, the notes, the content that we're going to be talking about tonight on a page for you already, so you don't have to worry about that. So this is kind of our talking points tonight, but I have a lot of other goodies that you're going to want to grab as well. So TTQA, turn the question around. It is exactly what it says. It's a strategy that teaches our students how to write stronger answers on those open-ended comprehension questions. So when you are doing this, there's a lot of reasons why giving the students this type of strategy is beneficial. So one of the reasons is students may already have an answer. They may have something inside their brains that they think would work. They've got something they want to say, but they don't know how to get started, right? Do you ever have students in writing class who sit there with their pencil on their paper and they're just like, I just don't know how to get started. Have you ever written a paper yourself? Like, I've been there. Getting started is sometimes the hardest part of writing. And that's true as well for comprehension questions, even when they're open-ended. So if we use TTQA, it gives students the opportunity to kind of get that writing going and get the juices flowing, and they're able to then put in their answer. It's also a very concrete strategy. It's very black and white, and it allows those students to begin the writing process and, like I said, get the juices flowing and get them going. It also helps students really start generating ideas. Maybe they don't know what to write about. Maybe they don't have a clue. You know, they haven't gone back to the text yet to find something or to find the answer, and they're just staring at their paper. Using TTQA at least gives them something to do, right? And I always tell my students, especially when I was teaching those standardized test grades, you know what? When you're staring at that question and you don't know the answer, start with TTQA. Get it written down, because while you're thinking, you can at least get those words on the paper. And I promise I'm going to explain really what that means in just a minute. So TTQA, turn the question around. All that means is they are going to take whatever comprehension question they are given, and they're going to completely flip it into a sentence starter. And I've got the steps written down. So one of your freebies that you're going to get today is a little anchor chart that has the 4 steps. It is 4 steps only. It's super easy. So they're going to, of course, read the question, read the entire question. Then the students get to cross out question words. So words like can, do, who, what, where, when, why, you know the question words, right? They're going to cross those out physically, X them out so they cannot see them, okay? Then they're going to rewrite the rest of that question and use it as a sentence starter. So I tell my kids, it's like cheating. I'm giving you words. I'm already starting your answer for you. Use the words I give you. They're going to take those words from the question and you write them down as their sentence starter. Now, number 3 or step 3 may take a little bit of tweaking, and usually it's not a lot, but they may need to look at the verbs to make sure there's some subject verb agreement switches there or whatever. And I always just tell them, it's smart, of course, to reread our answers when we're done, make sure they make sense, switch the verb then, okay? And then, of course, step 4 is then tack your answer on to the end. So let me give you an example. Let's say the comprehension question was, who was the first president of the United States? So they would read the question, they would cross out the word who, and the rest of the question says, who was, was would be crossed out as well. Who was, and then the first president of the United States. Boom, take that. The first president of the United States was George Washington. So you see how they can easily just take the words, put it in their answer. And it is such a great strategy. Again, it really helps concretely get them to start writing. Another reason this strategy is so important is it helps them to identify those key words that are in the question and then find them in the text. So especially when you get into the older grades, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, the questions that you're asking students are probably specifically pulled using very specific language from somewhere in the story, right? So you want them to go and find that word in the story, right? Or that character, or that whatever it may be. So if they're looking at those words in the question very carefully and they're using them as their sentence starter, they're going to go and find those words then in the text. So it really helps reinforce that when they're looking for that text evidence. And then also, and if you, I don't know if you've already started thinking about this, but if you use things like RACE or SLAMs or any of those other acronyms that help students like write really strong responses, this works with those. You don't have to like only do TTQA or only do RACE or only do SLAM. Like, it works with them. So I did SLAMs, which you're going to be testing my memory really well if you ask me what SLAMs means. But it's just like RACE, where it has them, you know, get all the different parts of their answer together. But we also use TTQA. TTQA is more to kind of get that complete sentence, to get the juices flowing and make sure everything's going to be there. And then SLAMs really helps them like dot their I's and cross their T's. So they work well with whatever strategies you already have in place. So TTQA, great strategy, right? So let's talk about your freebie real quick. So if you haven't already, make sure you comment below, let me know where you're from, say hi. I love seeing the hearts go through because it makes me know I'm not talking just to my own computer screen. I appreciate that. So in your freebie tonight, I already told you I've got the notes page for you, right? So all the little notes and all the content that we're talking about tonight, I've got for you. I have a little anchor chart. So you could cut this down and have them put it into a interactive notebook. I almost forgot what that was called. An interactive notebook. Or I have a bookmark version of the same thing. So you can give your students this as well. So they've got that. And then I have a foldable that you can use. And the reason why I gave you a foldable was because when you are introducing this to students and when you're talking about it, what you want to do is have them write down each of the 4 steps inside. So you kind of have some options as to what you want to do and how you want to teach the strategy. But this would be a good interactive way to, again, get them to jot down notes or write the steps. So step 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 different spots. And this is a great thing, again, for an interactive notebook or just in their folder. So you've got the foldable, you've got the bookmark, you've got the anchor chart, you've got the notes, and are you ready for this? Because I love you so much. You are walking away with 2 passages and questions at the bottom that are ready for practice. And what I want you to do with these, and I'm kind of jumping down to my tips. I've got some tips that I'm going to give you too. Is I want you to use these to model and practice the strategy with your class. Don't take these, I'm watching you, don't take these and go and use them as an assessment or use them as morning work or whatever. Use these for TTQA. See, that's where I wrote TTQA at the top, okay? So when you're going to introduce or practice the strategy with your class, there are 2 passages here that you can then use. Read the short little story. I promise it is easy story. But that's not what it's about. So if you're teaching 4th, 5th grade and you're like, oh my gosh, the story is so easy, that's not the point of your lesson today, right? The point of this activity is for them to practice TTQA. It doesn't matter how easy that passage is. It's about the questions and about what they're writing. So have them read or you read with them. And then you've got 3 questions down here. So one of the things that I did, or one of the tips I give my teachers when I'm talking about this strategy, is I always have my students write the letters TTQA above the questions anytime they are working on questions, whether it's in a journal, if it's on a test, if it's on their homework, it doesn't matter. If they see comprehension questions, I better see the letters TTQA written above them. And it's a habit that you have to get them into. So I already have that written right here to kind of show them what that looks like. But it's just a visual reminder that they can write down. It gets them to remember what to do and to remember to use the strategy. Then there are 3 comprehension questions, again, that you are then going to use. You have them get out the bookmark, they're foldable, whatever you do. Walk through the 4 steps with them and answer the questions using the strategy TTQA. So again, I have 2 of those for you in the freebie as well. So you're going to want to go and download that if you haven't already. Okay, So 4 quick tips, and then we're about done for the night. I told you this was going to be a fast one. So I said to write TTQA above the question. That's a great strategy. I actually used to have a TTQA monitor. It was one of my jobs that I kind of added on after we introduced the strategy. And it was usually a student that I wanted to get up and out of their seat for like 1 minute to walk around the classroom, and all they did was they walked up to every paper and they just made sure everyone wrote TTQA on the paper. It was a silent job, but it got those squirrely students up and out of their seat for 1 minute to stretch their legs, and then they were remembering what? They were remembering TTQA as well. So when they sat down, they also then wrote TTQA and got started on their work. So just a little like side tip as well. So have them write it. Model this strategy for them, please. This is not something you can throw at them and just be like, hey, I learned about this, on Wednesday from, Mrs. Harris, and she tells us to use a strategy. So here's what it looks like. I want you to try it. Like, go. Make sure that you are taking time to be up in front of the students and modeling the strategy for them. That's what these are for, okay? Also, and this is a fun little tip too, when you're starting the strategy out, and this is really great for 2nd grade and 3rd grade students, is to go ahead and underline the important words for them. And what I mean by important words is I mean the words that they're going to use in their answer. It is a little bit of support that you can give, or if this is something you want to do to help differentiate in your classroom, from the students who maybe are struggling a little bit, you're going to underline the important words for them, and the students who, they can do it, you don't do it for them. But what that does is it still allows them to use the strategy, but it kind of gives them a self-check to make sure that they know these are the words that I should be using. And then once they get into the habit of knowing what question words should be crossed out, what words are important, then you can kind of wean them off of the underlining as well. And my last tip for you today is to model the strategy the wrong way. And this is something that I really, really feel true to my heart that we should be doing with a lot more things than just TTQA. But modeling the wrong way really helps students concretely see what is right and what is wrong. So many times when we model anything, we model the right way all the time. Students need to see the other way too. They need to see the black and the white. They need to see what they should and should not be doing. That way they have that balance between and knowing where should they be kind of in the line of everything. So when you're modeling this, and that's why one of the reasons why I gave you 2, model one the right way and model one the wrong way. You can even, when you're doing it the wrong way, another little side tip, I've got lots of them for you. Go ahead and have your answers pre-written out. Like before you even, copy the papers or whatever, pre-write all your answers to this the wrong way. Then pass them out, or copy them. Then pass them out and do some error analysis. What's wrong with this? Why is this not using TTQA? Why is this answer not strong enough? How can we fix this? Because then that adds a little level of rigor to that, and it really gets the students to kind of be thinking about, what should you have done? How could I fix the strategy? So anyways, you have an amazing freebie waiting for you. I really hope that you downloaded that. I also really hope that you have joined my Facebook group. It is an amazing place. We're just getting started. I think it's only 2 weeks old, but we have an amazing group of educators in there from grades 2 to 4. If you're 1st grade, come join. If you're 5th grade, come join. I really don't care. I promise. But it's the things that we talk about are really going to be centered around 2nd through 4th grade. But come and join us. I also put the link over there if you want to follow me on TPT. That way you get notifications for any resource updates, and you can click that as well. If you have any questions about TTQA or any kind of like comprehension question writing strategies or whatever, let me know. You can comment below and I'll go through and answer all of those. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you all being here. Like I said, every Wednesday night for the entire year of 2019, super excited. I will be going live every Wednesday. So put it in your calendar, write it on a Post-it note. I'll be here again next week. I can't remember off the top of my head what next week's topic is, but you better believe I will let you know. And I hope to have a freebie for you then too. So have an amazing week. Thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.